Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking one of my Book of Backgrounds pieces and I'm going to be creating some art on top of it. So what I'm going to be doing is I took the, going back as I created the Book of Backgrounds, cut them in half. I gifted one to a random person that Joe picked the list and the comments. That person creates something, I create something on the other half, and then I would like to do a side-by-side comparison via a photo. So I'm going to push this a little bit further. I took my half, cut that in half. I'm going to create two miniature pieces that can be used as artist trading cards. And one is going to be with, they're both going to be industrial look. And one, it's going to be two separate videos. One's going to be with stuff I found at big box hardware store. And the other one with actual embellishments found at the art store. So I have my little sketch what I was looking at here. And of course, circles, love circles. So I'm thinking I want a type of composition like this. So once I have an idea about what I want to create, then I'll go to the stash and I pulled out my pieces. So for the background, and I am already missing one background, it's the other one somewhere. So I'm going to be taking that background, I cut it to 2.5 by 3.5. So that's the piece I'm going to be working with today. And so I've got my texture pieces and I've got some torn paper. I've got these massive washers for my embellishments and texture. I've got a little quote here. You can see a lot just by looking. And with this, there's further embellishments, and I've got my little stash here. I'm thinking about using some of these beads here, these metal beads here. So I'm thinking I might do that. So in my stash of metal stuff, these are the other ones that I picked for the other version. So this is the one I'm going to start with first. And on the side, you probably can't see. I've got my quote jar, my skull quote jar, where I have all my cookie cutter quotes, my fortune cookie quotes, all these little quotes that are ready to go. That way I don't have to fuss with trying to figure something out. And over here, I've got all my metallic lusters. So I'm thinking about doing something with that as well. All right, so I'm going to do a dry fit. So I've got my background. I'm going to be tinting the background. So the idea that I'm looking at is something along the lines of this, and then have the quote somewhere here sitting on top. And then I'm going to trim this, but I want to, basically the idea is to also use some modeling paste as my experiment. I like to do an experiment in every piece, so I'm going to do that. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is going to tint this. And what I have here is the DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics, Transparent Red Iron Oxide, Transparent Yellow Iron Oxide, and Phthalo Green-Yellow. And then I've got my matte medium as my glue for the papers, and my modeling paste, which is clear, for the additional texture. All right, so what am I going to do? So I'm thinking I like the idea of the blue. I'm infatuated with the color of rose gold, which is not here, but I like that color. So I'm thinking of the color wheel. I want to take advantage of this blue here. So I'm thinking about doing something with a bit of a green. Going to neutralize it. So Phthalo Green-Yellow be neutralized with a bit of Transparent Yellow Iron Oxide. I'm going to go right over the blue. Going to neutralize that a little bit more. And then I'm going to wipe it back. And although this background has a lot of metallics on it, because this paint is a matte finish paint, that it will get rid of a lot of the shine because it's going to compete with this. So I'm liking that. Dry. So these little pieces I'm doing under 15 minutes, not including drying time. So that's good. That's that. All right, so I'm going to get this. So these little things, you can look up stuff on the internet, fortune cookie quotes, and all I did was threw everything into Microsoft Word and, sized it. You can get templates for micro address labels. They're a good size. throw the quotes in there and then just print them off in sheets. That way they're ready to go. Now this I printed off on canvas paper and using my HP printer, which is the actual HP ink, and it's going to be permanent. So if you're using the my brain's going this way, my mouth is going this way, the no-name ink, generic ink, you might want to give it a bit of a spray of, let's say, Spectrafix, or maybe a little bit of a matte medium, or just to seal the ink, just in case you want to do some painting. So if you are going to varnish it, just one coat. Don't keep going over and over because you're going to dissolve the ink. Just one coat. Because there's so many generics out there. This, you know, I have no idea what you're using. All right, so let's collage that on there. Oh, should be under 15 minutes for the project, not including drying time and me gabbing. And put some matte medium. That's already dry. And put some there. And you can stain your paper first if you want. I'm going to just put that there. I'm going to trim it at the end. And I'm going to put another piece across. Let's do it like that. When you're using matte medium, the drying time isn't that bad. But if you've got really good scissors, make sure your piece is dry first, because now with doing this, I'm going to have some of the medium in the scissor blades, so that needs to be cleaned. That's almost dry already. So now with everything kind of being done, we're just going to get a little bit of transparent yellow iron oxide. I'm just going to go right over the paper. And I'm looking at this and saying, no, 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 no. Not yellow. Transparent red iron oxide. I won't even clean the brush. Better, 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 better. Because red's opposite to green, and I much prefer the contrasting colors, the complementary colors that work together like this, especially when you're doing layering. I can take the brush and just kind of go back on over the edge just to darken that edge a little bit. A little bit of definition. You don't have to do this. Just put a little bit of shading in there. Like I said, you don't have to do this part. That's that. So that's going to have to dry now. So I'm going to cover this. Oh, come on. All right. One thing that for painting metal like this, like I like the colors the way it is, so I'm not going to have to worry about it. But if you wanted to change the color of the washers, a permanent thing would be using the DecoArt multi-surface satins, but it's like a paint, so you're going to lose the metal look. The other thing is you can use alcohol inks, which will be permanent, smelly but permanent. So you can do that. I'm thinking I'm going to try just doing a bit of burnishing with, there it is, with the metallic lusters, and see what I can get. So I'll use that Q-tip. So I'm just going to put that on there. See, I'm going to take a dry paper towel and I'm just going to rub, and it just puts a little bit of a color on there. You can come in with acrylic paint as well. You could also put a layer of sealer, multi-surface sealer on this, and then come in with regular metallic paint. That'll work. See how you get a nice little nothing there. All I'm really doing is just changing the color so it's not so brassy. And then you buff it to first, that increases the shine and increases the permanence. But this is water soluble, so if it gets wet, it will come off. So I could always put a layer of, one layer swooping without overworking varnish. This one's a bit green. You don't have to do this. I just wanted to change a little bit of the color on that. Let that sit for a sec. You know, while I'm here, let's just put a bit of this on the edge. Finishing my edges a bit early because I don't get distracted. I get so distracted when I'm doing this because I go into the mode of what if, what if, what if, what if, and I want to experiment. And there's nothing wrong with that. On my own time, when I'm trying to show you guys something, it could end up, the video, which is 15 minutes, could end up being 3 hours. And I've done that before. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to hit this with the heat gun. Modeling paste. Oh my goodness. This I'm going to let dry overnight. So I'm going to be using this. Basically, what's good? It's going to hold the washers. That's going to hold the washers. Because the washers are so round, I could actually just back buttered it and just put it on, but I want to use this as further texture on the piece. So just roughing out the edges. And if you don't mind getting your fingers dirty, do you mind getting your fingers dirty? You can use your fingers to kind of soften it out a little bit. So I'm going to be, basically this is going to be my focal point as well. So there. Thought I lost it. So when you're working with washers that are this heavy, you'll need to make sure that your substrate is strong. And the beauty of this stuff is that you can still continue to dry fit. I can actually put it beside, or I can put it on top. I'm kind of liking it being on top. Oopsie. That kind of like that, but I'm going to stick with my original sketch. Let's go up over, let's flip this. There we go. That's better. So while I'm here, I'm going to tint this a little bit. Transparent yellow iron oxide. And I'll let that dry. I'll finish the edges and I'll glue that on here. I'm going to put some more modeling paste underneath as a little bit of a base to help that stick. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of paste here. These could actually sit on top of each other. The problem is that they're so heavy. So when I do the other one, it'll be a little bit easier it'll be a little bit easier because there won't be any, the weight won't be there. So I want to get, okay, so I'm looking at this. And, ooh, where's my tray? Oh, I got the wrong tray. Okay, well, I'm going to have to wing this. I have a little tray for this stuff. And underneath. Okay. And I'm going to use the transparent red or an oxide to edge everything. Very little supplies is what I'm using for tools and that. You can use a cosmetic sponge. I'm going to hit that with the heat gun. And other than me talking, I'm now over my 15 minutes. So I'm going to apologize up front. Oh, these seeds are so tiny. Perfect. Perfect. So now it's sitting right on top. It's fastened to the washer, and with the extra modeling paste underneath, it's actually going to be level. There you go. I'm gonna spread a bit of these around. There's too many there. I could too. Whoops. Clean that. And where did that go? Got a few little pieces in here. Yeah, we'll just see what happens with that. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry now overnight, and then we come back, we'll see what it looks like when it's finished. All right, we're back. Been through another sneezing fit, so excuse this. Okay, so I've got the piece, and I thought this was kind of blank and it's kind of empty, kind of needing something. So I've got some stamps here, and this one kind of tweaking my interest here. This little, I'm thinking about putting maybe some of the numbers. That's this one here. I'm going to use a Stazon because I did an experiment a little while ago using Memento, and it didn't work. So I'm going to use the Stazon. Oh yeah, that helps. It helps break up the blankness of the washer. I like that. And really, it's anything. It's just to make a pattern. And I also wanted to try. Where is it? This one. This is the one with, oh my God, circles. I should better do the whole thing. Yes, I have acrylic plates. No, I don't want to use them. Whoops, you can't see what I'm doing. Just to create a little bit of an image there. Hopefully you can see that. Excuse me. Oh, and I can smell that ink pad already. And then I was thinking of, in the corner, this one. And I'm not using the acrylic pad because of all the beads on there. What's a really nice thing that you can do? Oh, I like that. What's a nice thing that you can do is if you have a whole sheet and you just make a whole bunch of stamped images and stuff like that, and then you just cut them, that way the pieces will, you know, be cut nicely. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okie dokie, put that away. And I'm pretty sure some of you out there are kind of screaming at me because I'm not cleaning my stamps. I'm not a stamping expert. I'm not a stamping expert. I'm not an embossing expert. There's really no such thing as an expert in everything. This is why I love to learn from you guys. So I'll put that, oh, and cover that. So that's it. So now I like how it's just broken up some of the blank parts on it. What I will do though, because this particular washer is really heavy, it bent the paper a bit, I'm going to mount this onto another piece of cardboard, which I don't have here, but just a piece of, you know, the backing of a pad of watercolor paper. I'll just use that back and cut it, and I'll just mount it to that. Then I'll just finish the edges again, and it'll make it a bit more sturdy. Alrighty, so that's it. So let me know what you think. Question for you: have you guys ever used stuff from the hardware store in your art pieces? And with that question, what's the weirdest thing? Non-art thing, so you didn't go to an art store to buy it. It's not an art supply, so going to the dollar store and buying, you know, an embellishment at the dollar store doesn't count. But going to the dollar store, going into the hardware section, or going into the kitchen section. So what's the weirdest thing you've ever used in a mixed media piece? I'd love to hear from you. So please share in the comments below. Let me know what you think, because like with all these book of backgrounds and the pieces I'm creating, Joe will be picking a name in 2 weeks. He'll be calling a number. I'll be counting down the comments, and that person will win this little artist trading card. Alrighty, so let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also, my Facebook group is gone. I've moved to a private community without all the drama of Facebook, so I would love it if you could share your pictures in there. It's advertising free. Alrighty, so I'll see you on the inside. So until I see you in my next project, stay inspired.